In this slide cast, we're going to look at the contract period, in particular the routine duties that happen in the contract period. Now, by routine duties, I mean the stuff that happens day to day. In the following slide cast, we're going to look at the monthly duties, because at the end of every month there's a process where you review progress, you pay the contractor a progress payment, and you all meet and discuss how everything's going. But in this one, we're just talking about the routine day-to-day duties. Now, the contract period is that time from when the contractor starts work on site to the time when he finishes work on site. So from when he gets possession of the site through to the issue of the practical completion certificate. Now, during this time, the contractor and the consultant are both doing stuff. The contractor is concerned with getting the work done, but he's project managing the work. The engineer is mainly concerned with monitoring that work and making sure that it is being produced the way it's supposed to be produced. Now now you can see that I've just got a small list of the duties that both teams do. Now this is the people that are on site, and that's really what a technician does. So when you see contractor and engineer there, read engineering technician and the contractor's technician. It's sort of something that junior engineers do on site. Now there'd be a senior engineer sort of coming in and keeping an eye on things, but most of this is what a lot of you will be doing. So the contractor, and both the contractor and the engineer, are keeping a site diary, recording what's happening day to day. They're both concerned about quality. However, the contractor is concerned about quality control, so he's primarily responsible for producing the works to the required quality. And you remember that is it being built as per the contract document. The engineer is responsible for monitoring that, doing inspections and testing, making sure that the contractor is producing it to the required quality. Variations, things change, so the contractor, if he identifies a variation, he needs to be communicating that. The engineer needs to be processing it. The contractor is supervising the workers. The engineer is giving the contractor's representative instructions and guidance. So the engineer is not dealing with the contractor's workers. That's the job of the contractor's representative. But if there's any instructions or guidance, if the engineer needs to change something, he will give an instruction to the contractor, the contractor's representative. If the contractor's representative is unsure about a detail or how something's supposed to be done, he will ask the engineer for guidance. So between them they will discuss it and they'll reach an agreement on how it needs to be done. The contractor, because he's a project manager, he's monitoring the budget and program. His budget is what he put in his tender. He wants to bring the project in under budget. So if he put $1 million in for his tender price, he wants to bring it in less than that, otherwise he doesn't make a profit. The engineer is also monitoring a budget, but he's monitoring the client's budget. So the client will have a budget that is different from the contractor's one, and once again the engineer is responsible for bringing the project in on that budget. So if there are any changes, he needs to be amending that budget. And once again they're both keeping an eye on that program. Is the project going to be coming in on time? And both are responsible for health and safety. The contractor is primarily responsible for implementing health and safety practices, making sure that the health and safety processes that are in his health and safety plan are being implemented. The engineer has a responsibility to make sure that those processes are being done, that the site is a safe site. If something happens on site, the contractor is obviously going to be held responsible, but so is the engineer. If someone's hurt on site, then some of that responsibility does go to the engineer and to the client, because the expectation is that they would have been keeping an eye on the contractor, making sure that he's doing everything safely.